Okay, welcome to Energy Alchemy with Jen. This is my reformatted weekly Friday show where we're going to just talk about whatever's up in the energy and to see what's coming up for you. If you're watching this through YouTube or Facebook, I'll be able to take questions in the comments, and you can also join via Zoom. Oops. Okay. So this is going to be like our pilot test, but this is actually my fourth episode of doing Energy Alchemy with Jen. Just unfortunately, the platform that I was streaming on previously has disappeared. So I'm kind of navigating this on my own, and hopefully we have it working. So it says we're live. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is a little bit more about self love. If you've been following me at all, you know that this has been like my mission for myself, for my clients. It's the program that I'm offering called Self Love Alchemy. And, I was wondering if self love feels a little cheesy, right? Like it can maybe even sound like a spiritual bypass where we're like, well, yeah, I love myself and I take care of myself and I do self-care, and those are all like wonderful things. And like, what does it really mean? And it was funny, right before I came on today, I was on the phone with my brother and we were talking about our childhood and the things that went down and the trauma that we experienced. And he was asking me like, when did I notice that it really started to affect me? And we were kind of thinking about it like, well, when we're kids and we experience any kind of trauma, we don't have the capacity or the resources or even the support to really know how to navigate. So we tend to repress and suppress, and we're like just surviving, right? And then I was realizing, like, as I got older, that survival mode really perpetuated. And basically, like, there's not room for self-love because we're just surviving, right? And whether you had a challenging childhood or not, we all carry some kind of trauma in our bodies. We all are holding dense energy, trapped emotions. Last night, I led a group talking about self love in more detail, and we were kind of raising hands where we can all know that within us there are things we need to release, there are things we need to heal, um, there are opportunities to bring us back to love. So um, it's really a way for us to create awareness of what is not feeling love within ourselves. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But I also want to read you something that came through in a channeled message. And I'm going to see if I can, as I pull this up, I'm also, oh, I'm going to see if, okay, we're doing good. Okay. So, uh, this was a channeled message that came through, and I always get the validation that the message was not coming from me because words are used that are not normally expressed in my vocabulary. So here it goes. It says, "This is a time of reckoning." Okay, I don't ever use the word reckoning, and it sounds a little ominous. A reckoning with yourself, a time of forgiveness and renewal of all that you are, to reconnect and remember your brilliance and your magic, to awaken your truth and receive the wisdom of your soul. It is time to awaken creation and give birth to what feels good, what brings you joy and fulfillment. The pain of the past is available to release. You must accept that it does not serve you to keep this. It is not needed as a reminder or protection. The true freedom of your being is available to you now. Claim your birthright, claim your freedom, claim your true loving nature, and reset the world. So we can look out on the global scale and see what's happening on the world, but it's it's ideal to see what's happening inside, like what gets triggered within us based on the environment, based on the external happenings, based on our relationships. We've got to take responsibility to see where we're holding pain inside of us. And essentially, we can do that with asking our bodies, like, what part of me needs love right now. We did a little exercise with this last night, and I encourage you to, maybe grab a journal and ask yourself, ask your body, like, what needs love right now. So today, I also want to talk about the pillars of self-love that came through in meditation, because these are ways that we can identify where we're out of love. The first pillar is connection, and essentially that is where we feel disconnected, we feel alone, we feel unsupported, where life is struggle, right? And life presents struggle, right? We every human on the planet has suffering, but what that presents us is an opportunity to see what we're still holding within that is out of alignment with love. It's funny, today I woke up and I get songs when I wake up in the morning, and it's usually like a message from spirit, and today was the Independence Day song, Let Freedom Ring. And so it's, based on the channeled message I just shared with you, and kind of what's been presenting. It's like, when we're not in a space of love, we're not in a space of freedom, because we're operating from a place of pain or suffering or trapped emotions, and whatever that is. So this has really been my mission for myself and others, is for us to release the density, right? I use the words self-love alchemy, because alchemy is the transformation of something dense into light, right? Base metals into precious gems, gold. So this is really like our opportunity as a collective to see where we're still really out of alignment. And again, we can witness this outside of ourselves, but we have the responsibility to shift it within ourselves, right? So it starts with awareness, and then the willingness to be able to do the work. So using the seven pillars of self-love, it's like there are avenues and pathways in which we can see what's out of alignment, see where we need love. Okay. The second pillar is perception, and this is how we relate to the world around us, and also how we perceive ourselves. So we have a lot of like negative judgment, a lot of negative self-talk, right? So we perceive things, we judge things, and when we're in a space of judgment, we can recognize that there's something within ourselves that needs attention. Okay. Everything that is happening in our outside world can reflect back to our inside world. And it's our job to see what that is and make the changes. The third pillar is authenticity. And this is where we're really being aware of where we're not being authentic, where we're not speaking our truth, where we're hiding or creating filters or accommodating to other people. Okay. So if we're not in authentic, true expression, then we're really not in alignment with love. This has been huge, especially for empaths. Like I know for myself, I spent years and years and years like people pleasing, and making sure everybody around me was happy, and then if they were happy, that I could feel happy. But then I really wasn't being true to myself. So if we can recognize where we're not being authentic, where we're hiding or not using our voice, like, then there's a greater capacity to create freedom to express. I think there's a big element of truth when we talk about self-love. Like, I'll be true to, like, right now, like today I woke up, like yesterday I felt amazing. I got, all these things done. I was productive. I felt really expansive and free. And then this morning I woke up and I didn't have much sleep last night, and I was like, ugh, like I don't know that I like this feeling. Like, what's up for me right now? Like, and so I went for a walk and I communed with nature, and that kind of reset my energy, but I can still feel like something under the surface right now. So I'm sharing this with you to be in my authentic self and recognizing that, oh, there's something within me that is requiring my attention. And then it's my commitment to myself to go within and ask, which I will be doing today. We just haven't just got to the time yet. The other pillar of self love is compassion, where we are not having a sense of really being kind to ourselves. And if we're not kind to ourselves, then we're being mean to ourselves, like plain and simple. If we don't have a compassionate, kind, um, kind of nurturing, loving relationship with ourselves, then we're usually beating ourselves up. So there's a lot of like self criticism, negative self talk, like we talked about. And so, even if you find yourself in a space of judgment, even if you find yourself, being mean to yourself, see if you can just kind of like pause that and actually like, oh, like it's okay. Like you're okay. I'm here for you. Like, what would it be like if we were our own best friend? Like if you can imagine, talking with your best friend, what would your best friend say to you if, you were being mean? So much compassion for other people, and then we don't tend to flip it back to ourselves. The other pillar of self love is in our abdomen, which has to do with courage, because it does require courage. Like it required courage for me to show up today because I wasn't feeling my optimal, like bright fairy self. We should have done this show yesterday. um, but it requires courage to just be our truest self, to be brave and sorry, I did not turn my phone off. Um, and go beyond our fears, right? Being able to be vulnerable, being able to do new things, to take risks, to speak our truth, right? There's an absolute need for us to step beyond our comfort zones. There is no freedom in our comfort zones, okay? No freedom in our comfort zones. So what would it take for us to have more courage to step out and do the things we've always wanted to do, say the things we've always wanted to say, and go beyond the parameters or the container or the limitations that we've set for ourselves? So we can utilize that pathway of courage to see, okay, well, where am I holding myself back? Right? Because if I'm not really stepping out in the truest version of me, then I'm hiding. And then we go down to allowance, right? Allowance being another pillar of self-love where we tend to really suppress our emotions. We tend to numb out. We tend to distract ourselves. When we feel uncomfortable, when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel stressed out, you know, we might reach for something that's a distraction. And so allowance is giving ourselves this really kind, nurturing space to feel our feelings, to just be an allowance of whatever is coming up for you, not to judge it, not to run away from it, and not to numb it. So back to what I was telling you guys about talking to my brother earlier today. I'm like, he's like, well, when did you really like notice that the trauma that we experienced was affecting you? And I said, well, I think it always did, and I just didn't have awareness of it till like way later. But I started finding things like smoking pot or whatever, in my teens to numb out, right? So it was like self-medicating because it was the only thing I knew to do. I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the support, I didn't have the awareness to know that I was operating from these trapped energies, these traumatic experiences. And these get embedded in our bodies, in our cells, and in our DNA. But the cool thing, that the opportunity is that we can reprogram ourselves. we can be the architects of our life to start to change. Bruce Lipton does some wonderful communications about this, about epigenetics, and that we are not the victim of our genes and our DNA. We can actually change that with this kind of work, with the commitment to self-love, with the commitment to healing. And then the last pillar of self-love is presence, where it is essential for us to be really connected and in our bodies, right? So again, if we're like numbing out or distracting, we're not fully present, right? Our energy kind of gets up here. We feel scattered. We aren't really feeling centered. It's difficult to sit still. The mind's running. And so we're just kind of again like in this survival mode. So presence is really important as well. So those are the seven pillars of self-love that have come through in meditation, and I'm just sharing those as a way for you to have awareness. If I've created a guide and a seven series audio series of meditations infused with light language to assist you on your journey of self-love. So I will post that in the comments if you haven't downloaded yours, and that's a free offering to you. So what I also wanted to do today is just pull some cards and bring through some guided messages and just kind of what's happening energetically in the theme of what's happening. And so I'm gonna see if anybody has any comments. I don't think I see myself on Facebook, so let's look on YouTube here. I don't see anybody, so I'm going to go ahead and just draw cards for the collective. And if you have, if you want to hop on the Zoom and leave a or want to hop on the YouTube, it's Jen Cunnings, youtube.com/Jen Cunnings, or sorry, J Cunnings. If you have a question, I'll be happy to provide like an intuitive reading or some energy work. But for now, I'm just going to pull a couple cards and see what comes up for us. Okay. So again, these are for you if you're listening and kind of what's just happening. So the first card is the Fire of Transformation. Oh my goodness. Like this Phoenix energy has been so present. So there in the fire energy, I just like every time I meditate and I connect into my body, I just see like lava and fire. I did a post a little while ago. I don't think, oh, I do. I have it here. Of all this fire energy, and then I brought in some water to balance it. I find that when I'm processing things and I start to draw, I start to just it helps me to move the energy through. But this is really huge because we are experiencing tremendous transformation, and if you are feeling like discombobulated, if you're feeling what's the word? Kind of lost, uncertain. It feels like there's a lot of rewrite happening. Like we're going through such big change. And when we're in the middle of change, it's almost like we're just not quite grounded. And there may be some, what's the uncertainty about the future, uncertainty about the present. And what that really is asking us to do is to be an allowance of where we're at right now. Like maybe we know where we've been, we kind of have a sense of where we are, and maybe we don't know where we're going, but we're kind of riding that wave as things are being dismantled, as the energy of transformation is happening. It's like a recalibration that's happening in our bodies. It's like there's this rewrite that's happening, but all these new chapters aren't written yet. The card also says radical purification, violet flame, surrendering, and resurrection. And it's interesting that resurrection word has been coming up a lot as well, where we are birthing new aspects of ourselves. We are crumbling the layers that we have built on the identity of who we think we were. Our ego aspects are coming up to clear, and like what's coming up, it's like the caterpillar in the in the cocoon. caterpillar doesn't know what it's going to become, and it's completely disintegrating and going through that full metamorphosis in that cocoon, but it doesn't really know where it's going. So that, if that relates to you, that really feels like that's a big happening. I feel that right now. I would say, like, I have certain things that I do have like a commitment to. This is, I know where I'm going. Like, I'm teaching my self-love alchemy course. Like, I know these are things that I am called to do, and I feel like there's something else I just can't see yet. And so it's a little disconcerting and a little discombobulating. So I wanted to share that because that seems to be a very prominent theme that I've noticed, and I've noticed with some of my clients I'm working with. Our other message is depths of love. Okay. So it says, let go of fear and jump into love, let go beyond attachments. And I think that the letting go beyond attachments is so important right now, because again, if we're trying to recreate the past, or we're attaching to what we know or what we think we know or what worked for us in the past, the energies are transforming so quickly, so powerfully, that there's a lot of opportunity to detach, and then there again, there's not a lot of like comfort there. So in order for us to go through these big changes, these big transformation, there is going to be a sense of not having that solid foundation. But we can always go within, we can always go into the center. Like, the depths of love exists within us, right? I love the dolphins here, and they're playing, and in the beautiful water. And so as we're going through these changes, as we're going through transformation, there's scary parts, right? And we can actually, sit with ourselves, sit with the fear, sit with the uncertainty, and then as we go within, we can allow ourselves to get into greater connection, greater alignment, even if we don't know, right? Even if we're in a space of not knowing, right? That's the detachment from what we think we want to happen or we think we know. That's funny. So, and then the last card is know yourself. So we're being invited to deepen our relationship with ourselves. It says meditate. Who am I? The veil is lifting and opening. Okay. So we've had a lot of attachments to who we think we are, who our identity is. And bringing again this fire of transformation and talking about the veil lifting, it's like that whole rewrite and that whole new chapter that's being written, maybe even beyond your awareness or comprehension, is also deepening your real, true relationship with yourself, your self-love, your truth. So, back to the channeled message, though this is a time of reckoning with yourself. It's like we've got to find all those parts that maybe we think that we are, or maybe parts where we've held ourselves in blame or shame, and forgive and cleanse and reunite back into our wholeness, right? Self-love is a journey back into wholeness, into who we really are. And frankly, it's not an easy one. It is not an easy journey to go through such significant transformation, right? Things are crumbling inside and outside, and we don't know, right? We don't know what the future holds. So we can only find that center of self, that center of peace, and that center of love from within. So those are my messages for you today. I'm going to double check to see if anyone has any comments. I don't see anything. So this is my first on my first this platform message. But I'm going to post the link. So if you want to join me on Zoom and actually have one-on-one experience with an energy healing or light language, you can join me on Zoom. You can leave comments on YouTube. I don't think, doesn't look like I ended up streaming on Facebook, but I will do that too and see if I can look at those comments as well. Oh, I see. Okay. I do see you guys. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Michael. I can see you on Facebook. So if you're still there, or if anyone's on Facebook, I can see your comments. Um, if you do want to ask a question or you want any specific support in an area, go ahead and leave a comment. And then I'm going to go ahead and check YouTube as well. I don't think I saw anyone on YouTube. Okay, give me just a moment and then I will answer any questions you have if you have them. Okay, so it looks like just Facebook. Okay, I don't see any new comments, but I'll give it a minute. So while I wait, if you would like support, I'll be here every Friday, 12 p.m. Central, and I'm going to see if there's other ways that'll make it easy to connect, and I'll put the information out so you can join me on Zoom as well. Oh, here we go. Okay, for some reason I've got a lag here. Michael, been integrating my change work and dealing with all of the energy changes. Any read on when this will be completed? Michael, if I knew that, I think I'd be a millionaire. But let me go ahead and pull a card from you. For you. Yeah, so again, back to that Fire of Transformation card, this just feels so prevalent. I've been seeing the Phoenix energy very strongly for like weeks now, and it just feels like you said, Michael, integrating the change work and all of the changes. I just feel like we're in it. We're just in it, and again, bringing in that energy of allowance to let it unfold in its own timing. And maybe there's something that would support you in this process. So let's see what comes up for that. And I'm just going to take a moment and tune in. It's good to connect with you, Michael. I feel like there's a lot of changes happening in your solar plexus, that empowerment energy. And it's interesting. It's almost like you're like in the marathon of it right now. It's like, the marathon is what, 23 miles, 26 miles, 26 miles, 26.2 miles. Anyway, so like you're in it. It's like the long stretch, right? The marathon requires I've never run a marathon, but to run a marathon requires like perseverance, right? Slow and steady, or steady rather, right? You have to pace yourself. We're not sprinting. We're not stopping and sprinting, because the most advantageous way to complete the marathon is to keep that pace, keep it steady. And so that's what I see is happening. And it feels like in that belly, in that space of power, like that's what is activating as you're running this marathon right now. I know you're asking when, and let me see if there's any, let me ask and see, like, how far in the marathon are you in? So it feels like about halfway. Like you're at the halfway point where you're at right now. So maybe you have a reference point of when this started to unfold for you. And then let me pull a card for Michael. So you got Ellen of the Ways. It says, attune to nature's signs to find your way and follow your heart. So to me, there's opportunity for you to like commune with your natural state of being. So this is about, again, allowance, not pushing, not pulling, not resisting, right? Being able to flow with what is unfolding. So my sense is that you will have more ease with how it is, how this change is integrating, the more allowance that you have, and allowing your natural state of feelings and beings and happenings to just be honored at all levels. And then, of course, nature is going to assist us with this, right? Because nature exists in that pure, pristine frequency. So when we allow ourselves to commune with nature and we get that entrainment of that energy, that's going to ease that for you as well. And she's also holding a mushroom. So whatever that is for you, I just saw that. Excuse me. So a lot of grace, Michael, a lot of opportunity for you to be softer with yourself, it feels like. not to put pressure on timing. And is there anything else for Michael? I feel like there's also people in your world that you could, just communicate more of, maybe, if you are feeling struggle or you are feeling discontentment, like talk it out with the people who, support you and love you, and communicate, your truth, right? You know how, like, when people ask, like, "Oh, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine, I'm great," and like your world's crumbling inside or whatever. So I would say that's an opportunity for you to be really truthful, and having that communication with the people around you is going to open up receiving, so you feel that support, and create more ease in that way as well. So Michael, let me know if that resonates. And I see Christy. Hi, Christy. And then Lisa says, Ten of Swords keeps popping up for me. Okay. Um, Lisa, let me just see if there's any specific message for you that will give you, I think if I remember right, Ten of Swords is like a change. I can't remember. I'm not familiar with the tarot. But the Ten of Swords, if I remember right, is like an ending, conclusion, ending. So let me see if there's something specific for you, Miss Lisa. I'm gonna just take a minute to tune in before I even look at the card. Lisa, I'm immediately drawn to your throat. I think there's a lot happening in the terms of the opening and the activation of your throat. and a clearing, right? So we talked about the authenticity of the throat, being able to not just speak truth, but allowing whatever expression is wanting to come through you to be super clear and direct is also what I'm hearing. So whether that's you being truthful with yourself or truthful with other people, it's kind of like that reckoning word again. Like how I'm receiving the meaning of reckoning in the message I channeled is really having a super deep, honest evaluation of self. You know how, in some books, afterlife books or whatever, like I'm thinking of the Afterlife of Billy Fingers. It's like we go through a whole life review, right? And not in judgment, not in blame, not in, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda done this in my lifetime, but more like that higher perspective where there's just, a detached observation of how we've navigated through our earthly life. And so really seeing ourselves through the lens of truth and having that honest evaluation of self, not in judgment, right? Not in any kind of wrongness, but really being like, okay, show me what's true about me. Where are my blind spots? What do I need to know about me that's going to create greater awareness of my life? And can I be that truth, speak that truth, live that truth within myself first and foremost? So Lisa says her throat feels pretty blocked. Okay, let's do a little clearing on that. And then your card, Lisa, is forgiveness. See the bigger picture and trust and heal. So let's go ahead and bring some of that forgiveness energy into your body, into your throat, so that you are in a space of really being kind to yourself as truth unfolds. Inner truth, truth of awareness of self. And let's see if we can clear the throat so that's an easier experience, and we can deepen that honest relationship that you are, I guess, creating with yourself. Yeah, deeper, more honesty in the relationship with yourself. So let's clear the throat, and I'll just do a little light language. And for anyone else who's listening now or later, you can receive this as a way to open your throat and to be in greater alignment with your truth. You know what? I'm going to need the bowl for this. 2 seconds. I'm going to get my bowl. Okay, and then I have to change the setting on the Zoom so the sound doesn't get distorted. Okay, so we're gonna break, this is the throat bowl. in the note of G. And so we're going to bring in this energy to help all of us open our throats to greater truth and honesty with ourselves and all others. Ola korliata na moresha kotobara sotoliata na moresha kona kiatana. Atala yatana yakoro shakur masakia dona karlikia. So Lisa, just continuing to utilize your voice, whether that's speaking truth, whether that's singing, really activating the voice, allowing it to have more open expression, just in whichever way you feel drawn to do. I feel lots of singing for you, which I know you do already. And so I would play with that. Okay. I see Christy's open to receiving. Okay. Miss Christy. Let me see if there's anything. So for some reason, these comments aren't showing up right away, and I'm only seeing a little bit of them. So for some, I don't know. For some reason, I can't see them all. So bear with me on this new way of interacting with you guys, and we'll see if we need to switch gears, but we have it for today. Okay, so Christy, I kind of actually feel like there's some energy around actually the breasts, not like the actual physical breast, but just this area on the lower chest. Almost like a constriction. And really just what I want to do is just like set you free from this. I don't have an exact understanding of what it is, but it just feels like confining. So whether you're confining yourself or feeling confined by the environment around you, it's like your wings feel like they're bound right now. So let's stretch out, let's open, let's take some big breaths, and everybody who's listening can do this as well. Where we have, I think if you guys were here earlier, I was mentioning the song that came in this morning was the Let Freedom Ring. And so let's free up anywhere we are confining ourselves or anywhere we have felt restriction. And just big breaths into the heart and into the back of the heart. Let's open up this energy. Also, Christy, the throat. Itolia kododasha konomorasha kurusa le etana kor pepera shikira sokorukia. Itonoriasha karawaraso korahara epapana merasha korukia. So just feeling free to fly, feeling free to soar, feeling free to express in whichever way. And let's actually call in the energy of birds I was really aware of the birds on my walk today. I saw like cardinals and ducks and geese. What does it feel like to be free to just take off in flight? Itania shokorosa korpeperamara sotoro korokitebara shikidabarosha mukuru kudo sakiatanamo orokwa. Free to speak, free to express, free to sing, free to fly. Bringing in freedom in all areas for all of us. Ketolohin eralia shokoropara sokodabara shikidabara sonomo korokya. Ekare shikidabara kutadamara satanamaraya chetemoko. And just clearing some fear from our root. Etoro korrepeparamaro sotodamaraya setadabere shikidabere sokokwa. Etoro para shikidabara sokodamaraya shikikia. Again, nature, like getting your actual butt on some grass, Christy, feels like would be helpful. Just letting that root chakra open, anchoring into earth, feeling more expansive and free in all areas of your body. And let me know if that feels a little lighter. I see you said yes to freedom. And I don't know why I can't see everybody's comments. That's so weird. Okay. So let me know how that's feeling. I think I can see the comments as they pop in, but for some reason I can't see older comments. So I think that's what's happening here. So and as I look to see if that comes in, freedom is a really big energy for us to be aware of, right? This is part of that fire of transformation, because if we're still operating in old ways of being, we create limitations, right? And so we're burning those up right now. Call in that Phoenix energy to clear every way that you have confined yourself, defined yourself, limited yourself. You know, if you were completely free to do, to be, to express you in the most truest way, what might life look like? What might be different for you? Okay. Christy says she feels movement. Okay, goody. Goody. All right, well, that's, I think, all I see for today. I'll send out a communication on how to connect via Zoom if you guys want to come on next Friday. We'll be here. Let's see what that date is. Next Friday, the 1st of April. You can join me here via Zoom. You can join me here YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I'd love to hear any comments, subscribe, and I think we are close to a wrap, everybody. Let me just see if there's, I think we got it all. I'm going to go back to Facebook one more time before we close, make sure. Lisa's still feeling tingling and vibration. Good. Yeah. And so with the energy that we brought through today, we kind of just did a little quick snapshot or a quick sample, but we're going to ask all these energies to continue to run. And I think what we might do in closing is I'm going to bring in the throat bowl one more time, since that was kind of showing up for a lot of us today. And let's just let the throat bowl, the G bowl, just help to keep moving and flowing this energy. Okay, so just open and receive. Oh, yana la kwa yana my throat was clearing. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here today. Like I mentioned earlier, like I didn't wake up in the best of spaces, and so next week we'll hopefully have a little more lightness. Um, and I'd love to support you in any way. So just join me next Friday, 12 p.m. Central, and I'll post the link on Facebook and send out a communication via email. And thanks, you guys, for being here on Facebook and asking questions. I love to support y'all. Okay. Thanks for joining. You guys have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. If you're in the Dallas, Texas area, enjoy the gorgeous weather. Mwah. Love y'all.